Hi, Micah here. I'm back. It's been a while. And I'm exhausted. It's, yeah, it's been busy around here. My wife, bless her heart, went from one thankless job to another. And she was a school bus driver. And during COVID, that came to a complete stop, and then it just didn't seem very safe to do. But so now, bless her heart, she is a postal carrier, and my God, they work them to the bone. Six days a week, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day. Don't know if they're gonna have a break. Don't know if they're gonna get a day off sometimes. Sometimes they don't know what day they're gonna have until right before. Anyway, enough about that. So I got to the point where I've got all these little pieces, and all these little pieces are all the same color, and because I treat all of the metal in the Falcon the same way, I've kind of got to treat them all in the same way. So what I did was I pulled all of the pieces from the next 3 kits. And this one I've already done. This goes with this. And the stage 26. This is 27, I think. But anyway, they're all going to get treated the same, so I figured I might as well prime them. So I've already primed them. As I've done before, you can see this is the color that comes with it. This is the primer that I've been using. And it really doesn't matter what primer I'm using because you can't see any of it anyway. But I really do like having a base. It seems like the rub and buff that I use sticks to it a little bit better. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and treat these all as I've done in the past. And normally I don't film something that I've done before, but I figure it's been so long, maybe people are beginning to think that I forgot about this, but I have been busy. Because believe it or not, this isn't my day job as much as I would like it to be. So I got that to do, and then get to play dad the rest of the time, which is fine, but there's no time for this. And when you're as busy as the rest of us, I'm sure everybody is the same way. Everything you do is instead of something else. So, anyway, I did the floor of the main, I forget what that room is, but the room with the chess table and nav computer and all that. That's the first floor that I did, and I did it this way, starting with the pewter rub and buff. I'm not 100% certain that I would have done that had I known, had I thought ahead, that every other piece in the Millennium Falcon is going to need to get treated the same way, otherwise it's going to stand out like a sore thumb. But I am actually glad that I did, because I could not be more impressed with how these treatments look. And you know, for someone like me, I'm by no means a skilled artist in any way, shape, or form. But I've taken, you know, some of the things that I've learned from watching other people and added to it. And I think it looks pretty good. This is the ceiling, and honestly, I have no idea where this actually goes in the Falcon. There's a fair possibility I won't be able to see any of this. But, you know, it makes me feel like it's complete. Now this is the bottom, and I know that this goes over the top of it. So really all I need to do is the sides. And actually there's going to be pads there too, so I really don't even need to do all that. But if you just try to do the parts that stick out, it doesn't look as good as if you had done the whole thing. And that's apparent right there, because I had forgotten to do those, and so I did them the second time, and they don't look quite as good. But they make such a small corridor that I'm not really too concerned with how that's going to look, because you won't be able to see inside. Plus, it's not lit up. There's a couple of places in the Falcon that aren't lit up, and a couple of places that are, and I have not decided if I'm going to be adding my own lights. I'm thinking I'd like to try doing that. Don't know enough about it, but I don't know anything about anything until I try. So I might have to educate myself. Build an Arduino lighting kit. Wouldn't that be fun? Okay, so that was the pewter, and then the next thing that I do is I come back with the black. And we don't need much black. And I got quite a bit on my pad, so I try to diffuse it. And so I'm going to go hit a couple of spots that I know aren't going to be visible just to see. Okay, so that's fine. And basically I'm just going to do some dirty smudges. And it never fails. I always get too much, but that's okay. And the reason that's okay is because I go back over the top of it with the silver leaf, which is like a highlight. So the pewter is kind of the middle color. The black is pretty dark. And then the silver leaf lightens it up. And together, those three colors to me make it look like, I don't know, either imperfect metal or dirty, it's been scored, it's been burnt. You know, the Falcon's been through a lot. All right, and now we're going to do the silver leaf. I don't know how many people that see this live in the States or if you live abroad, but we just got through a massive election. And while I'm not opposed to going totally political, I don't really think this is the forum to do it. But I will say that we Americans broke all kinds of turnout records. And more people voted in this election than ever before. And regardless of who or why you voted, let me just say thank you. That's pretty awesome. We don't have to do a lot as Americans to get all the things that we get, but the very, very least we can do is educate ourselves and vote. And for the most part, we did. So that's pretty awesome. Okay. Yay. So that's that. And so basically what you get is, 3 different colors of imperfection and dirt and scoring. And I think that looks pretty good. So then the last thing we're going to do is we're gonna get all these little crevices wet. Why would we be doing that, you say? And it's because we're going to put a wash in there. And I find that the wash bleeds in if you give it some help. And the rub and buff is kind of supposed to be a final treatment. It's a metallic wax based acrylic, so the water pretty much beads on there. But not only does the water bead on there, but my wash beads on there too. So that's why giving it a little help with the liquid to begin with helps. So you can see that I just kind of drag it across the gap, the lines there, and it kind of finds its way in there. Okay, and we're going to let that sit for a little bit. All right. So this means I'm going to be done for just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is let this dry for a little bit. And then once it's dry, then I'm going to wipe it off. And I will see you back at that point. And through the magic of video technology, we're back. There we go. So I'll just wipe some of that off. There we go. And now we just have a little dark hints inside the grooves. Alrighty. So now we gotta put this guy together. That's the floor. Not too shabby. Alright. Let's make sure it all goes together just right. Nope. Nope. Yep. And then we'll fit it with some glue. Ah, how about that? Anyway, I was just noticing I put some of these guys probably on the wrong way, but like my father used to say, you never see it on a galloping horse. So, where is the trusty glue? In the glue drawer. And we don't need very much of this. So I think what I'm going to do is put a little bit in my glue tray. Which for the record is a piece of tin foil stuck in the hole of a roll of electrical tape. Like you do. And then my swab, I got these things that stick on the end of the glue to make a fine tip spout, but it also works as a good swab to wipe it. But I don't need a whole lot of it, so I get rid of the long squiggly pieces. And I'm going to put a dab in there. But I also think I'm going to put a dab across the top right here. Beautiful. Okay, same over here. I know I got kind of a late start on this Millennium Falcon. Everybody else has been doing these for years and years. And there's some really pretty ones out there, and I'm hoping that mine will be similar. This particular model, the D'Agostini model, it's interesting because it's a replica. Oh, you know what? I want to get some on here too. It's a replica of the model that they used in Empire. And so you have to make some decisions when you're building this sucker, and you're going to decide, are you building the prop replica of the model that they used to film the movie, or are you building what you believe the Millennium Falcon would look like at that scale? And the reason why you have to decide is because those are two very different things. The paint job for that model apparently was not very good, and there were some very fast little scribbles here, and they didn't have their lines on, and so then the paint job that D'Agostini's done apparently matches that, which is fine because that's what the model is. But I think I have decided that I'm going to use that model to build what I think the Millennium Falcon would look like at this scale, and so that's why I'm opting. That's why I'm making the interior as real as I can, and that's also why I think I'm going to be repainting the outside. And won't that be fun, because I haven't got the foggiest idea how to do it. So that's why I always say in my comments come watch me and see if I don't screw this whole thing up. Be an awfully expensive mistake. I'm sure having fun doing it though. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is this guy. This has been so much fun so far, because like I said, I don't know what I'm doing, but the directions are super, super clear. And it allows me to feel like I know what I'm doing after I get it done. There we go. Give her a little bit of a squeeze. And hopefully I didn't screw that up. That looks pretty cool. I wish there was some light in there. Like I said, some of this stuff I'm probably going to drill some holes and add some aftermarket light. But that looks pretty neat. I'll take some beauty shots of that sucker after it dries. Well, I got that out. Let's make sure that that was it for issue 26. It's not all the parts. I got some hull parts too, but these issues are interesting because they give you a bunch of parts that you haven't yet, that you don't need till later. So in here, I think we're gonna start doing the pads. Yeah, looks like we got some pads. Yep. Yeah, looks like we got some more hull too. Yay. We're gonna have a little more than half the, I believe this is the bottom. We'll have a little bit more than half of it by the time we're done with this. Oh, and I gotta make the assembly jig too. The assembly jig are these giant pieces of molded plastic. Got lots of these. And they go together. I don't know if you can see that in these pictures. They go together so that you have something sturdy to put the hull jig on when you're building it so that it doesn't get all crooked. Anyway, this is exciting. We'll get to work on this stuff the next time. Thanks for joining me. Until next time. Can't even see down in there. Looks good though. Thanks for joining me.